the moment shattered the polished illusion of power like glass under a sudden. In the middle of a bright, crowded terminal flooded with daytime light, the woman everyone feared and admired collapsed to the floor, her white suit wrinkling against the cold tiles, her hands trembling as she folded into herself. The words spilled from her lips in a broken plea, not as authority, not as command, but as fear itself, and for the first time in her life, the CEO everyone called untouchable looked utterly human, already wounded long before anyone could raise a hand. If you believe that kindness, empathy, and second chances still matter in this world, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Kindora Life. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Her name was Alina Moreau, the youngest female CEO to ever lead a global logistics empire, a woman whose signature moved markets and whose presence silenced boardrooms. She had arrived at the airport that morning expecting another controlled victory, another deal sealed, another reminder that she stood above chaos. Instead, chaos found her. A sudden medical episode had stolen her balance, the pain in her leg radiating upward as she fell, drawing gasps and raised phones from strangers who watched rather than helped. The whispers began instantly, some filled with curiosity, others with cruel delight. Power, she realized in that moment, did not protect a body on the floor. Her fear did not come from the pain alone. It came from memory. Years of surviving emotional blows disguised as mentorship, raised voices masked as leadership, hands slamming tables inches from her face. She had learned to brace herself before impact long before this fall, and as a man rushed toward her through the crowd, her mind betrayed her, expecting harm instead of help. Her shoulders tightened, her breath broke, and the plea escaped her before she could stop it. The man who reached her was named Rowan Hale. He wore the muted uniform of the cleaning staff, his sleeves rolled up, a faded bandage on one hand, exhaustion etched into his face in a way no paycheck could hide. He had been pushing a cart moments earlier, thinking about whether his daughter had eaten breakfast before school, wondering if the extra shift would cover her field trip fee. When he saw Alina fall, he did not see a CEO. He saw a human being in distress, and his body moved before fear or hierarchy could stop it. Rowan knelt slowly, keeping his movements careful, grounding, his presence calm rather than imposing. He spoke gently, not with authority but reassurance, explaining with patience that he was there to help, not to hurt. His voice carried the steadiness of someone who had learned to comfort a crying child at 3 in the morning while hiding his own worries. He positioned himself so others could see his hands clearly, silently shielding her from the invasive stares behind him. Alina's world narrowed to the sound of her own breathing and the unexpected kindness in his eyes. No one had looked at her like that in years, without fear, without calculation. As the pain eased slightly and the panic loosened its grip, embarrassment flooded in, followed by something more painful than the injury itself, shame. She had assumed the worst. She always did. Survival had taught her that. Airport security arrived, but Rowan did not retreat. He calmly explained the situation, advocating for her comfort rather than control, requesting medical support instead of removal. When asked to step away, he did not argue, but before leaving, he made sure she was steady, seen, and safe. It was a small act, almost invisible in the rush of the terminal, but it cracked something open inside her. Later, in a quiet medical room washed in afternoon light, Alina learned more than her diagnosis. She overheard a conversation between staff members about the janitor who had insisted on staying until she was okay, the single father who never missed a shift, the men who cleaned offices late at night after executives left behind their anger and ambition. Something about that stayed with her. Weeks passed, and the bruise on her leg faded, but the moment did not. Alina found herself noticing things she had ignored for years. The way staff avoided eye contact. The silence after harsh meetings. The cost of fear disguised as efficiency. She began asking questions no one expected her to ask, starting with a name. Rowan Hale. She requested a review of internal policies, quietly at first. She changed schedules, improved healthcare access, and implemented support systems for employees with families. Then she did something no one in her position had ever done. She invited Rowan to her office, not as a subordinate, but as a witness. There, without speeches or dramatics, she acknowledged what had happened that day. She admitted her fear, her mistake, and her gratitude. She revealed who she truly was beneath the title, a woman shaped by pressure, loneliness, and the constant need to prove she deserved her place. Rowan listened without judgment, the same way he had in the terminal, and when he spoke, it was not to ask for anything, but to remind her that power did not have to mean distance. The revelation came quietly, almost unnoticed by the outside world. Rowan was not just a janitor. He was a former operations manager who had stepped away from his career when his wife died, choosing presence over promotion. Life had never given him the chance to return, but dignity had never left him. Alina saw then that worth did not disappear with titles, and strength often lived far from spotlights. If this story is touching your heart so far, please take a moment to comment, like, or share it. Your engagement helps keep real, meaningful stories alive on this channel. Alina did not offer Rowan charity. She offered opportunity. A consulting role designed around his availability as a father. A voice in shaping a company culture built on humanity, not fear. And more importantly, she changed herself. Meetings softened. Listening replaced shouting. Respect replaced intimidation. Months later, as sunlight poured through the glass walls of the same terminal, Alina watched employees pass with lighter steps. She walked without limping now, but she carried the memory carefully. Power had once made her untouchable, but kindness had made her whole. Before the story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment the word kindness if you believe one small act can change a life. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you that healing can begin in the most unexpected moments, please like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement tells us these stories matter, and together, we can spread compassion further than fear ever reached.